Good morning, students. Once again, I welcome you all on my YouTube channel. Today, we are going to resume the third chapter, Journey to the End of the Earth. Before resuming the third chapter, we will revise the chapter. So, let us revise the chapter. So, Tisani Doshi, in her trialogue, Journey to the End of the Earth, she narrates her experience of visiting Antarctica. The writer Tisani Doshi boarded the Russian research vessel Academic Slokaski to reach Antarctica, the coldest, driest, and windiest continent in the world. She began her journey from Chennai and passes through 9 time zones, 6 checkpoints, 3 bodies of water, and many ecospheres. Her first reaction on setting foot there was relief and deep wonder. She wondered how India and Antarctica, with all its ice, were part of same landmass. 650 million years ago, before human evolution, Antarctica was part of a huge tropical landmass called the Gondwana Land, which flourished 500 million years ago. At that time, the climate was much warmer and hosted a variety of flora and fauna. After the extinction of the dinosaur and the entry of the age of mammals, the landmass was forced to separate into countries, shaping the globe as we know it today. It is mind boggling to imagine India pushing northwards and jamming against Asia, and then its crust buckles and forms the Himalayas. Also difficult to understand how South America drifted and joined North America, opening up the Drake Passage to create a cold circumpolar current which keeps Antarctica in the frigid state. The writer said that Antarctica is not easy for the circulatory and metabolic function of the human body. There are blue whales and icebergs as big as countries like Belgium. With the coalescing ice sheets in the continent, one can guess that all is not good for humans on the earth. Now let us resume the chapter. Next part is human impact. So human civilization have been around for a paltry 12,000 years. So Tisani Doshi here she says that human civilization have been around for a only paltry means only for a 12,000 years, barely a few seconds on the geological clock, and it is hardly barely means hardly a few seconds on the geological clock. In that short amount of time, we have managed to create quite a ruckus, etching our dominance over nature with our villages, town, cities, and megacities. She also says that in that short amount of time, in that short span of 12,000 years, human beings have managed to create quite a commotion. Etching means drawing our dominance over nature with our villages, towns, cities, and megacities. Means during this span of 12,000 years, we have dominated our mother nature in such a way by establishing the villages, towns, cities, and megacities that we have destroyed the forest and we have made animals to go extinct. The rapid increase of human population has left us battling with other species for limited resources. Even the population explosion has left us fighting with other species for limited resources. So today, human being and other species are battling for limited resource of nature. So we have left the animals without resources which are limited, and the unmitigated burning of fossil fuels has now created a blanket of carbon dioxide around the world, which is slowly but surely increasing the average global temperature. Even the writer says that the unmitigated means absolute, the complete burning of fossil fuels like petrol, diesel has now created a blanket of carbon dioxide around the world, which is slowly but surely increasing the average global temperature. So, due to the excessive burning of fossil fuels, we have created a blanket of carbon dioxide around the world, and due to that, the global temperature is increasing day by day, resulting global warming. Climate change is one of the most hotly contested environmental debates of our time. And right now, we see that each and every country is contesting environmental debates, and the topic is climate change. Climate change is one of the most hotly contested environmental debates of our time. Will the West Antarctic ice sheets melt entirely? Will the Gulf Stream ocean current be disrupted? Will it be the end of the world as we know? So here Tisani Doshi C has come up with the questions which are unanswered. So there are so many questions which are not answered, which are unanswered. And like, will the West Antarctic ice sheet melt entirely? So if the global warming, if the global temperature is increasing day by day, then the retreating ice and collapsing the cells would entirely melt the Antarctic ice sheet. Will the Gulf Stream ocean current be disrupted? Will it be the end of the world as we know? So if the same way, if the global temperature is increasing, then the world, it will be the end of the world as we know. Maybe, maybe not. So we don't know what will happen. Either way, Antarctica is a crucial element in this debate. So Antarctica is a essential, crucial, very important element in this debate, the hotly contested debate, the climate change. Not just because it's the only place in the world which has never sustained a human population. Antarctica is very essential, very crucial element in this hotly contested debate of climate change. And the reason is not only the reason that Antarctica is the only place in the world which has never supported a human population. So, like unlike the other continent, Antarctica has never supported human population. It has been uninhabited and therefore remain relatively pristine. And therefore, as Antarctica has not supported human population, it remains relatively pristine, pure in this respect. But more importantly, because it holds in its ice cores half million years old carbon records trapped in its layers of ice. Antarctica is pristine because it has never supported the human population. The another reason, the most important reason for climate change is that it holds in its ice sheet a half million years old carbon records trapped in its layers of ice. If we want to study and examine the Earth's past, present, and future, Antarctica is the place to go. So, if you want to study and examine the past of the Earth, the present of the Earth, and where we are heading, Antarctica is the best place to go to study and examine our future. Students on ICE, the program I was working with on the Slokaski, aims to do exactly this by taking high school students to the ends of the world and providing them with inspiring educational opportunities which will help them foster a new understanding and respect for our planet. So, the Canadian adventure educator Job Green has initiated students on ICE program, and the narrator Tisani Doshi also working on with the Slukaski. And the aim of the students on ICE program is to do exactly by taking the high school students to the ends of the world. So Antarctica is the end of the world, South Pole and North Pole. So the expedition of Antarctica provide students the inspiring educational opportunity to help them foster a new understanding. Foster means develop a new understanding. This program is for creating awareness in the minds of the students and respect for our planet. It's been in operation for 6 years now. This program has been in operation for 6 years and it is headed by Canadian Job Green. As I said, he was an adventure educator who got tired of carting celebrities and retired rich curiosity seekers. So, Job Green, he has operated this program for 6 years and he got tired of dragging celebrities and retired rich curiosity seekers who could only give back in limited way. So by taking them, he found that they could not give anything in return. With students on ICE, he offers the future generation of policymakers a life-changing experience at an age when they're ready to observe, learn, and most importantly, act. So, the Job Green, he has realized that the celebrities, the curiosity seekers, rich people, they would not give in return anything back by visiting Antarctica. But compared to that, with the students on ICE program, he offers the future generation of policymakers because the young students, the young generation are the future policymakers. So he has given them a life-changing experience by taking them on the expedition of Antarctica. So they are the future policymakers, and at this early age, they are ready to observe, learn, and most importantly, they can act against the problem of global warming. The reason the program has been successful is because it is impossible to go anywhere near the South Pole and not be affected by it. Here, the writer Tisani Doshi talks about why the students on ICE program is successful. The reason is that it is impossible to go anywhere. Means whoever goes to Antarctica, he is not unaffected by the experience. So it is impossible to go anywhere near the whoever goes near the South Pole. Everybody is affected by the change by the global warming. It is easy to be blasé about polar ice caps melting while sitting in the comfort zone of our respective latitude and longitude. So the writer here says that it is easy to be unconcerned about polar ice caps melting while sitting in our comfort zone of our respective latitude and at our home. But when you can visibly see glaciers retreating and ice shelves collapsing, you begin to realize that the threat of global warming is very real. Here, the writer she talks about that one cannot be affected by these changes if one is at home, but the young generation, when they can visibly, when they can see their own eyes how the glaciers are retreating and ice shelves collapsing, they begin to realize that the threat, the danger of global warming is very real. They are affected by the global warming. Antarctica, because of her simple ecosystem and lack of biodiversity, is the perfect place to study. So here the narrator, she talks about the Antarctica is the perfect place to study and examine how the little changes in the environment can have big repercussion, a consequence. Repercussion means result. Because of her simple ecosystem, Antarctica has a simple ecosystem and lack of biodiversity. Take the microscopic phytoplankton. Here the narrator she gives the example of the microscopic phytoplankton. They are the grasses of the sea, algae, marine algae, microscopic marine algae, phytoplankton that nourish and sustain the entire southern ocean's food chain. These single cell plants they nourish and sustain the entire southern ocean food chain. These single cell plants use the sun's energy to assimilate carbon and synthesize organic compound in that wondrous and most important of all process called photosynthesis. So microscopic phytoplankton are the single cell plants and they use the sun's energy to assimilate to make a part carbon and synthesize organic compound in that wonderful and most important of all process is called photosynthesis. Scientists warn that a further depletion in the ozone layer will affect the activities of phytoplankton. So scientists even warn us that if the further depletion, further reduction in the ozone layer will affect the activities of phytoplankton, which in turn will affect the lives of all the marine animals and birds of the region. So the further depletion of the ozone layer will also turn and affect the lives of all the marine animals because with the help of photosynthesis the phytoplankton assimilate carbon and synthesize organic compounds called photosynthesis. And the global carbon cycle, it will also affect the global carbon cycle. In the parable of the phytoplankton there is a great metaphor for existence. take care of the small things and the big things will fall into place. So in the parable, in this story with message, spiritual message, the phytoplankton, here there is a great metaphor for existence. So if we take care of the small things, then we can avoid the big things, we can save ourselves from the big things. Walk on the ocean. My Antarctic experience was full of such epiphanies. So the narrator Tisani Doshi, she talks about her Antarctic experience, which was full of exciting experience. But the best occurred just short of Antarctic Circle at 65.55 degrees north, south. So she talks about her exciting experience, but one of them was just short of the Antarctic Circle at 65.55 degrees south. The Slokaskis has managed to wedge herself into a thick white stretch of ice between the peninsula and Tadpode Island, which was preventing us from going any further. The Slokaski had managed to slice herself into a thick white stretch of ice between the peninsula and Tadpole Island, which was preventing them, the narrator and the other crew members, from going any further. The captain decided we were going to turn around and head back north. The captain decided that narrator and the other crew member, they were going to turn around and head back north. But before going back, we were all instructed to climb down the gangplank. But before heading back to north, the narrator and the other crew member, they were given opportunity to climb down the gangplank, the board. Gangplank is the board between the ship and the land, and walk on the ocean. So they were given opportunity to walk on the white sheet of the Antarctica. So there were all 52 of us kitted out in Gore-Tex and Blair. So they were given opportunity to walk on white sheet of Antarctica. So all 52 of them, they were equipped with the Gore-Tex shoes and sunglasses. They were walking on a stark whiteness that seemed to spread out forever. So the narrator was amazed to walk on a stark whiteness, the white sheet of ice that seemed to spread out forever. Underneath our feet was a meter thick ice pack. So they felt underneath them, underneath their feet, was a meter thick of ice pack, and underneath that 180 meters of living, breathing salt water. So underneath that ice pack, 180 meters of living, breathing salt water. So it was a memorable experience for the narrator. In the periphery of crab eater, seals were stretching and sunning themselves on the ice floes, much like stray dogs will do under the shade of a banyan tree. So in the boundary of the salt water, the crab eater seals were stretching and sunning themselves on the iceberg, much like stray dogs will do under the shadow of a banyan tree. It was nothing short of a revelation. So the experience, the memory experience of walking on a ice sheet was nothing short of a disclosure. Everything does indeed connect. 9 time zones, 6 checkpoints, 3 bodies of water, and many ecosphere later, I was still wondering about the beauty of balance in play on our planet. So after crossing the 9 time zone, 6 checkpoints and 3 bodies of water and many ecosphere, the narrator was still wondering, still thinking about the beauty of balance in play on our planet. How would it be if Antarctica were to become the warm place that it once used to be? So the narrator she raised question that how it would be if Antarctica were to become the warm place that it once used to be. Will be around to see it, or would we have gone the way of the dinosaur, mammoths, and woolly rhinos? Who's to say? But after spending 2 weeks with a bunch of teenagers who still have the idealism to save the world, all I can say is that a lot can happen in millions of years. But what a different a day makes. The writer says that the students on ice was highly useful. It offered the future generation of policymakers a life-changing experience. From their experience, they could learn how to protect their earth from further damage. The writer says that it was nothing short of a revelation.